Hello and welcome back to the Gwalia Game Line, the podcast where we follow Gwalia Lightning through the highs and the lows and everything in between. I'm Sian, your host, and I'm joined again by my sister Sarah.
Hello again. We're back again.
So this week we're looking back at the Wolfhounds match on the weekend. Moments of promise, but unfortunately another loss. We'll also be looking forward to next weekend as well, which is coming up for the final round, the exciting, I think it's the Derby round of the Celtic Challenge, which is kind of a cool way to end the league matches, if you ask me.
Defo. It's going to be really good. A very quick shout out then to Breath on Thunder. And I reckon we're going to finish with a proper hot take. Don't know about you, Sian. I think that might be right. And I guess there's always a hot take with us, probably several, if I'm honest. And then the final question is, can Gwalia beat Britton in the end of the season clash?
All of that to come up. Exciting times. Okay, so Wolfhounds again.
Yes.
Another loss. This time 7-52, I think the score was at the end. A bit of an odd one, this, because I felt like Gwalia started really well, and those first 10 minutes, we looked a lot more comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
However, we didn't take our chances in those 10 minutes. We did put Wolfhounds under that pressure, didn't get any points, and then Wolfhounds bounced back and scored, and they were pretty comprehensively the better side in that 30 minutes for the rest of the half. I thought, to be honest, Wolfhounds played the best I've seen them play.
Oh, no, I agree with that. It was, if you can take aside being a Gwalia fan and not enjoying the score, it was actually a pleasure to watch such an amazing performance. I would say probably one of the strongest performances I've seen in the Celtic Challenge so far. So I'm sure there's a lot all the Gwalia players, and particularly the younger players, will take from just that experience. It was really fabulous. There was a period of sort of 3 tries in 10 minutes in the first half. So their second try, 18 minutes, another one a couple of minutes later, and then a third try at 27 minutes. And that was probably where the damage was done, I'd say, was just that period. And it was pretty impressive stuff. Not too many mistakes made by Wolfhounds, and probably more mistakes made by us. And maybe that is one of the sort of differential factors. But it was just really impressive, their offloading game, their ability to make breaks. We'll talk about some of the strong players, I'm sure, later. But it was just a pretty powerful performance. And oh boy, yes, I think that Gwalia must have been ruining not getting ahead early doors. That was the only way, I think, to win that game or be competitive, really, was to get on the front foot, score first, probably score second as well, get them rattled, which is what obviously Brethren did the other day. But in perfect conditions, lovely sunny, almost tropical Ystrad Mynach.
I've renamed it now. It's Costa del Ystrad Mynach.
Oh, there we
That's
are.
my new name for it.
Costa del Ystrad Mynach, excellent. In lovely, perfect rugby conditions. It was absolutely perfect for an amazing display. People like Dana O'Brien, after 1 or 2 very early wobbles, really got her kicking eye in. Katie Corrigan all over the place. And I think you said something like Linda has a cheat code today because she's just performing on a really, Linda Doujang, performing on a really amazing level.
Linda was on cheat code mode, particularly in that 30 minutes until half time. She was incredible, absolutely incredible. She was everywhere. She's such a great prop. We love prop forwards in the women's game, and see the props on the run. It's she is a joy to watch, to be honest. It's funny because I hate watching Gwalia lose, but I also, a bit of a rugby purist, and to see some of those back tries, you can't not appreciate those tries, to be fair. They were really, really good. I do enjoy when Wolfhounds get it together like that. They are very, very good to watch.
Oh, 100%. And you did have to appreciate the skill that they showed in their all-round game. Small shout out to Sian Jones, though, who did hold up Linda Doujang.
She did.
I
don't know how she managed that, to be honest.
I knew it was coming on the rewatch, and even watching the rewatch, I still couldn't quite believe it, and had to sort of rewind it again. That really happened. That was an amazing save. But Katie Corrigan as well, I think, was really.
Katie Corrigan was outstanding, wasn't she? Because we were saying this during the game. She had a fantastic game. When I saw the team sheet for Wolfhounds, to be honest, I had a feeling that was going to happen. They picked a really strong side. against us, which they've done twice now, and we have we have been up against it.
Yes.
Yeah, you've got the centre partnership like
Yeah.
they have, and Dana O'Brien playing brilliantly. I thought she was fantastic.
She did.
I'm a big fan of outside halves and halfback play. She was fantastic. Her kicking was just great.
Was.
Yeah, she just didn't really do much wrong.
No, her kicking game was definitely part of their magical mixture. They really won the kicking game, and that didn't help us. But it was, as you say, a pleasure to watch. There were some good performances. Nikita Prothero was mentioned a lot in dispatches. I'd forgotten just how active she was. Again, we've talked about her on the pod before. What a bright burning talent she is. So it's a pleasure to watch her get stuck in. Kelsey Webster, I thought, got really stuck in. Caitlin Lewis was really prominent in both halves, but has to be mentioned in the first half.
Caitlin Lewis is just the tackle demon.
I know.
Gwalia. I've never she put in so many great tackles.
This is what I guess for Sean. Could we have a reel of Caitlin's tackles?
Yes. No, I am planning to do one. I've just had no time.
No, but she deserves a reel, let's put it that way. And of course, as ever, Alaw, who's probably our outstanding carrier. There was a couple of really good breaks. She got hold of the ball at one point and just absolutely ripped through Linda. So as ever, though, with Alaw, when given the ball in space, she had a pretty good display in the first half.
I just felt we couldn't get the ball.
No,
in that first half, and unfortunately, fortunately, the lineouts were better this week, but we didn't have many of them.
No,
it was just frustrating. We just couldn't get the ball.
No, so we should mention Beth Lewis making her Gwalia debut for the match last week. Obviously, experienced international. She definitely added something to our lineout.
Yeah, definitely.
The breakdown, as was Gwen Hopkins. I think she added something for them, particularly in the second half, but we'll come on to that a little bit later. But yeah, it was a pleasure for rugby fans to watch the first half, but not probably vintage for Gwalia. But I guess in some ways we're kind of used to that.
Yeah, a little bit. I don't think we played that badly in the first half, to be perfectly honest. I mean, you're saying we're making mistakes. I mean, yeah, we did make a couple of mistakes, but
we didn't.
They weren't. It wasn't like when we were played out in Ireland, where, to be honest, we gave them 3 tries in the first few minutes. Where we gave them those tries. We really did, but we didn't. We weren't giving them tries.
No.
They had to earn those tries. They had to work for those tries.
The mistakes we made weren't unforced. They were under pressure mistakes. So you've got to bear that in context. And absolutely, they made every single one of their tries. It took all of their chances. We probably had 3 or 4 chances to score a try in that half. And unfortunately, mostly at the beginning, unfortunately, we weren't able to convert. And they took nearly every time they were in our 22, they scored, despite the fact that Gwalia put up big defences and lots of hard work. We did get some turnovers, to be fair. There were some turnovers, but it was just difficult for us to put any phases together.
The Irish teams are good at slowing the ball down. They are very effective at the breakdown. I say this every time. The key to beating the Irish teams is the breakdown.
Yeah.
They handled that so much better than us. They were extremely effective at that.
Yeah.
So fair play to them.
Yeah, absolutely. Arguably, there might have been a yellow in the second half, at the first half rather, with Alaw Pearce had what looked like a high tackle against her, which looked obviously it's tricky, isn't it? There's no TMO. It's just one referee out there, and it's very easy to be smart after the event. But it did look a nasty contact, I have to say.
We said it before with the touch judges. I do think need to help out the referees in the Celtic Challenge more. Like you said, there's no TMO.
Nope.
The referees do not have a million eyes. There's so much going on. They do need a bit of help there, I think. It's a shame because, yeah, it's a shame. Particularly something like that, because the high tackle rule is a player safety concern.
Absolutely, and it did look a genuine. One of the reasons I'm bringing it up is on the rewatch. It did look like a genuine safety issue for me. That looked flipping painful and dangerous. As it happens, the Wolfhounds player was the one who was lying on the floor, poleaxed afterwards. But
I wonder if that's why no cards were used. I know that's ridiculous, but at the same time, I do wonder whether that was in the referee's head at the same time.
I thought it was more a mistake as opposed to that, but it's looked dangerous to me. So, one quick question for you: how could have Gwalia kept closer touch with that? Because that was 5-0 in terms of tries, and I guess the game lost really probably by the 25-minute mark. What do you think Gwalia might have done differently?
Not getting any points in the first 10 minutes is quite big, to be honest. I think we've seen it a few games now where we just haven't taken our chances, and it has cost us quite dearly, I think. Particularly against a team like Wolfhounds, because you might not get another chance, so we do have to be more clinical.
Yeah, I think Kat alluded to that. Kat Nicholas McLaughlin, the coach, alluded to that in the pre-match interview. And I think a couple of times the commentators said, "Oh, just a tiny bit predictable from Gwalia. It's pretty obvious who the ball carrier might be." And
I think so. I think sometimes we are a bit predictable. I get it, because we do have some good ball carriers, so I kind of understand when we're using them. But yeah, they maybe need to vary it a bit more.
Yes. To be fair to Gwalia as well, there were already some injuries impacting. Evie Hill got injured, which arguably in the run up to the first try, which arguably, unfortunately, didn't help Gwalia because there was sort of destruction in their line. She then went off, and there were some injuries later on, and a half-time change for the team in bringing Lily Hawkins on.
Yeah, it's quite frustrating actually when you're at the game, because they don't tell you. They're not announcing when there's like substitutes are coming on and stuff. And we were sat in front of Chloe's family, and they were like, "Oh, Chloe's on." Like, we didn't even know that Evie had gone off.
Yes.
And we were laughing about it. It's like, oh.
Yeah,
it's quite frustrating as a spectator, not when you don't know what's going on in that respect. Yeah, we've been quite badly hit by injuries.
Yes.
In this half of the season. It's been quite disruptive, I think.
Yes. No, and there's another injury later I wanted to just quickly highlight. But are we okay to go on to the second half, do you think?
Yes, sure.
So commentators said the wind was picking up during the second half, which I didn't notice when we were there, but actually it did look like there was more swirl of the touch flags, etc., and I hadn't realised that Gwalia had the advantage of the wind in the first half. Yeah, apparently. Yes,
wow.
Exactly.
To be fair, that kind of makes the kicking game. Yes. Or did they kick? Well, thinking about it, maybe they kicked a bit more in the second half.
I think they did.
But, using that wind, but it does actually explain a bit why maybe that kicking was so effective. But I didn't really notice the wind, I have to say.
No, I didn't. But then we were basking in the glorious sunlight in the stands where you were suntan.
I was working on my suntan, which has been a little bit faded since October, since I was in the Canaries.
So Lily Hawkins came on at half time. So it's always great to see her. But it wasn't a vintage start to the second half either, because there was a try from a driving maul in the 41st minute.
Yeah, I was a bit concerned about that actually, because we were, was it 35-0 down at half time, I think?
Yes, that's right.
So to score so quickly, I was really quite concerned of what the final score was going to be. Thankfully, though, I think we stuck in and didn't give up, and I think they did show quite a lot of character, to be honest, to keep plugging away and keep fighting.
100%. It was a really good driving maul that first 91st, the second half. It was really good, but they didn't score again then until 66 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. I think it was a good effort from Gwalia. I think we had a few penalties. I think we were getting the ball a bit more. To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if Wolfhounds did fit off the pedal a little bit. They get, they're 40 nil up or whatever.
They brought on a couple of subs, which is understandable.
Exactly. So that changes the rhythm a little bit when you start bringing on substitutes.
Yes, there was, I think, more turnovers. It was more even. It felt like the game was played in the sort of middle half of the pitch rather than being in a defensive for Gwalia. Not a lot in 22, but honours even, I think you might say.
I think the referee tended to favour the team with possession, and I
Yes.
think Gwalia had a bit more possession in the second half. So we did win a few more penalties, which does make a bit of a difference, to be honest.
Yes. Alaw came off at 50 minutes, which we think was probably tactical to give Abby Fleming the other Gwalia deputy. I can't even say deputy. What's the word I'm looking for now? Debutante.
Have you got your teeth in, Sarah, today?
Oh, I clearly have.
At least you're calling them by their real names, their actual names. They're not making up that they're some sort of Hollywood star like I was last week. Honestly, Kate Winslet Williams, which is now her name.
No, I can't come up with one for Abby Fleming. Sorry, I'm not clever.
No, I know it's a harder one. Give me time. I might, you never know what's going to come out of my head. So.
There was some sort of really bad Errol Flynn joke in there, but even I couldn't make that one.
My God. A nice contemporary reference for you all. We're not that old, Sarah.
No, but they were really battling hard in that third quarter, and they probably, although there was a try at the beginning, they were actually probably slightly the better team in that quarter.
It was definitely more equal in that quarter.
Oh yeah.
But again, I don't. It's hard to say in those situations when a team is 40-0 up,
yes,
and they've made substitutes and they've kind of psychologically they've kind of won the game.
Yeah. Kira Pearce took another nasty knock, because another one again, and quite similar to
we are
really. I was like,
we are absolutely so unlucky with injuries this season.
Yeah.
I think last season we were incredibly lucky that we didn't have so many injuries, and it's just the way that it goes, and it's not anyone's fault. It's just the way sport is, but it can be quite harsh sometimes, can't it?
Gwennan Hopkins was increasingly prominent in the second half, and Winowen as well.
It's a shame we couldn't bring Gwennan into the game a bit more in that first half.
Yes.
Because she is such a great ball carrier.
Yes. Yes. I wondered, I'm a huge fan of Gwennan, and I'm sorry she's not in the Wales squad, although we talked about that and probably understand the reasons why. So many good back rowers. But I did wonder, obviously Gwennan, it's her first start for Gwalia. She plays a little bit last week, and that's the first time she's played. I wondered if it was just not having time to practice all the moves and etc., and just sort of bringing her in fully. That stuff.
Probably. But I was talking to Kira Bevan's dad after the match, and he agrees that Gwennan is a very good ball carrier. Yeah. And I think he seemed a bit surprised that she's not in the Wales squad.
Yes,
just for her ball carrying skills.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. She definitely gives you options. And maybe had Wolfhounds not been giving us such a masterclass in performance, she'd have had a very dominant game. But I guess she was up against people like Erin King in the back row, so it wasn't easy for her to make an impact either. Is I think what I'm trying to say. Erin King's yellow card at 58 minutes was important, and it's so important in this game that you take your chances, and Gwalia did actually within that 10 just about within that 10-minute slot when they were down to 14. We scored our try, yay, which was an excellent try, and on the back of it was sort of one chance and they took it really.
Oh, how we could have done with that on that first 10. I'm going to stop going on about it now. But yeah, I was glad that they did score, because I was a little bit concerned at one point that we might be nilled.
Yes. Yes.
It's never good. But yeah, she took that try really well.
Yes. And there was a nice passage of play beforehand, and there was some good hunger for it really in that 60 points, which I think gave us fans on site a little bit of heart. We enjoyed that. I think the injuries then disrupted it after our try. They then scored a few minutes later, and then Stacey Flood worked a moment of magic and a little gap in our defences right in the dying moments of the game.
Oh, the interception.
Yeah.
That was I was annoyed about that, because we'd made them work hard for everything, and then we gave away that really soft try at the end. It was quite frustrating. I thought Stacey Flood had a good game, actually.
She did. I had forgotten, but again on the rewatch, there was another little Gwennan run right in the death, and I have to give Gwalia points or kudos, because yet again, if it'd been 90 minutes, I think they might have scored another try or two. They were still
they definitely were still battling right to the end. They were, yeah. They need to not leave it so late.
Yes. They need to
easy to say, isn't it? Easy to say.
They need to set their alarm clocks earlier, I think. No, but I think they do spot that. If a game is ever even with like 10 minutes to go, you would always fancy Gwalia because they're always so up for it in those last few minutes. But clearly at that point it was obvious who was going to be the winners. And yeah, for me, I enjoyed that more than I thought I would, actually. If you'd said to me there's a very, very big score against Gwalia, but it was overall a pleasure.
It was entertaining rugby. It was really good rugby.
Yeah.
You can't. Like I said. I mean, I'm a bit of a purist. I love backstries, and they provided that. They were a joy to watch, to be honest. Even though I hate it, I don't really hate it. I think also you got to admire like player of the match. Like Linda Doujang was brilliant.
Oh
so
my
she was definitely the player of the match, I think. Although what's her name, Corrigan, is it?
Katie Corrigan would be.
She was close, and Dana O'Brien, of course, who I thought was really, really good. So yeah, there are a few players who were outstanding.
Yes,
I thought Alaw was probably our best player.
Yes.
On balance for Gwalia, even though she didn't even play the full match. I thought she just was
I felt
the whole game.
She was our best carrier. She was a real leader. They were struggling to handle her. Alaw doing Alaw things, as she always does, and she's always dangerous, and she's always so explosive. And she looked the class act that she is. Also, I'll give my sort of kudos to on the Gwalia side, Nikita Prothero. She came off actually early. I don't know if they were saving her. She made a huge difference. Caitlin Lewis and her defensive efforts. My God, she got stuck in. She did really, really well. Do you remember seeing her after the match? And she had horrible sort of like all these scratches and gashes down her face.
I know. I love it. I love it. She's such a great tackler. Yeah. We do love. We do. I don't know. There's something. I love it when a back is like that physical. I just love it. Yeah. I think overall, physically, we stood up to them. I think it's a combination of. It's that quick ruck ball. It's the breakdown. That we're not quite always winning those breakdown battles, and some of the decision making, probably still needs work.
Yes, I agree. Unfortunately, we are, as you said, we've been disrupted by injuries.
I don't think it's helped. I got to say as well, when seeing the team sheet without Bryony King gave me a nervous breakdown. It was so weird to see this to see the team without Bryony. Didn't like it.
When we miss Bryony, we must say that she always leads leads from the front. She was there as water carrier. I noticed she was still coaching and encouraging and giving her all, but she deservedly needed a break.
I was going to say I'd rather her rest as many games as she needs, because we do not want players coming back too quick from injury anyway.
No. But yeah, and it was good. And as I said earlier, I think Kelsey Webster for me as well, also really got stuck in. And it's just nice to hear her being talked about again in the commentary as all like up an emerging talent and all she's got into the Wales squad, and deservedly so, because
I'm so happy that she made that squad. She was one of the players that really I was really pleased about.
And she's taken the opportunity, the Celtic Challenge, and really made something of it. She's never taken a backward step, and she's really given it her all. And really part of that growth of quite an exciting backs position. And I don't think we've seen the best yet of her either. So I'm excited to see what happens.
Absolutely.
So yes, the next point then is the little Britain Thunder moment. So obviously they were playing at pretty much the same time, I think, or very similar time at the same time. So
I think they kicked off very slightly earlier than Gwalia, didn't they?
Yes, that's it.
These weird kick-off times so early in the day. I'm just not used to it. Yeah, they were playing Glasgow. It was an interesting match, this, because obviously Glasgow's still playing for that. That's the top 4 spot.
Yes,
and obviously Britain are as well. So Britain coming back from a really good win against Wolfhounds, and Glasgow obviously coming off the back of beating Gwalia. So there was a lot in this game. I thought. It sounds like Britain had no trouble really, but in a sense of they were confidently went out for it, and
they did. So they scored a try very early on in the first 3 minutes, and it was a lovely try, quality try actually. That scored a second unconverted try at I think about 30 odd minutes. Half-time score 3-10. and then scored four nice tries in the second half. Good backs tries as well. I seem to remember a little solo effort from Sarah Singleton where she just found a gap where no gap existed and made the most of it.
Yeah, I think this is the thing about Britain. They've always been like that though. They've always scored some really good back tries. They were like that. They were like that. Sorry, last year as well. They were still scoring really good back tries. I just think that they probably lacked a bit of power up front, and it seems that as the season's gone on, they've developed that, and they've obviously got the players there. People like Stella Orin and Brumwen, Metcalf. You know, they've really grown, and I think that's it's been testament. I think you're putting that combination together, and it doesn't surprise me that they're winning games.
Yeah, absolutely. And Glasgow might have fancied this match a little bit to be closer than it was. And if I'm really brutally honest, I thought the score would be a little closer than that.
I wasn't. When I looked at the team sheet that Britain put out, they've got particularly bringing in players like Kate Winslet-Williams and Lisa Neumann and Courtney Keat. So you've got that really, you've got that balance of the younger players and the senior players coming in.
Yeah, which is nice.
It's going to make a difference. It is going to make a difference.
Neumann featured heavily in the tries. I think she scored one individual try and featured in the others, so that was good.
Which is good to see because she hasn't had many games for Quins this season. I don't think she hasn't started many games anyway. So it's good to see her start matches and kind of have a bit of fun with it. I think because I always feel like we don't make the best of her talents.
No.
She's obviously one of the most fittest players in the Welsh squad.
Oh my goodness, yes.
And she's incredibly physical. I just think that we don't always use her the best.
No.
So no, it's all great stuff to see, and it's really good for the Welsh squad because I think there's going to be some quite hard decisions to make, which is what for the Welsh squad now to narrow that squad down, which is kind of what you want.
Absolutely, we want more fun with our picking our own team spreadsheets. I'm
going to have a nervous breakdown trying to pick my squad.
Isn't that how the game is mature? Because I think perhaps a couple of years ago the team kind of picked itself because we didn't really have the strength and depth. So it is the choice.
We've got more strength in depth now than I think that we did for the World Cup squad.
Yes,
that should have been my hot take, but I I do fully believe that we've now got like we were talking about this before. We've now got so many options for the back three. It's going to be quite hard to pick. I still think Nikita Prothero needs to start, and whether that's at fullback or at wing, I don't care. I think she just needs to start.
I think I agree with you. If you push me, fullback for me, but yeah, just
same. I would have her at fullback and Nell Metcalf on wing, and I haven't decided yet who gets the other wing spot because it's just so hard to pick.
I know. It's such a nice problem to have. So we have completed round 9 of the Celtic Challenge. It's round 10 next week, and they're all local derbies, more of which later. And then the top 4 go through to the playoff. So there's 2 semis, then the winners of the 2 semis go on to a playoff final. So first and second are probably the Irish teams pretty comfortably.
I think Wolfhounds have been well ahead of everyone, and I know they lost to Britain. But I think that was more of an anomaly, to be perfectly honest with you. They're still far ahead.
Yes.
They're more consistent. I think they just do everything pretty well. Clovers, I think, have dropped a little bit from last year. I don't think they're quite as consistent as they were last year.
No, and
I think they're more beatable. I think Gwalia could have won both matches when they played Clovers, and we didn't even have a strong side out against them at home. Our strongest side, given injuries, etc. So, and of course, Britain should have beaten them at Cap. I've said this a million times. So, I don't think Clovers are quite as untouchable as they perhaps were. But you still can't deny that the Irish teams, are still setting the pace.
100%. Then I guess the mix between the Scottish sides and the Welsh sides have been a little more even. Gwalia are third at the moment, and I think probably. But technically they might not. I think.
I'm not. I was trying to find out what happens. So what happens if Britain get the full bonus points against Gwalia on Sunday? I think they're equal on points. I'm not sure then if it comes down to points difference or wins. I'd assume it would come to points difference, but this is rugby. Who knows what they decided? They'd be like, we'll do it to how many tackles on a Thursday in training. No, seriously. I did actually message a Celtic Challenge to ask them, can you just clarify? Like, but they haven't replied to me. I messaged them like on Saturday, I think it was, when I was looking at the table. So if it's points difference, I think there might be too much to come back from. But well, Britain would have to win by like
a substantial amount,
which
yeah, because they've shipped a lot.
Could happen technically. Yeah. It's not like it's completely out of the realms of the fancy. Because I don't know what the points difference is. If it's if it's hundreds of points, then obviously, but like yeah. So it looks like. I'll probably say it now. It looks like if we're going from form, Britain probably will win on Sunday. Whether they win the full bonus points, they might do. It's not out of the it's not out of the realms of possibility. So we could end up with both teams third and fourth.
Yeah, but it's a lot. I think keep watching, listeners, because it's genuinely quite exciting because there's a lot of different permutations. And whilst I don't think Edinburgh are in the mix, that third, fourth, fifth playhouse is play spots are all still up for grabs.
I would expect Glasgow, I think, to win their derby.
Yes,
because they have been a bit more consistent than Edinburgh.
Yes,
I think the Scottish sides. I do think the Welsh sides are improving, but still a little bit too inconsistent. And I think the Scottish sides are also improving, but they're kind of more inconsistent.
Yes.
And I don't know how much of this is now the Scottish sides not being able to pull in senior Scottish players. Like, to be fair, the Welsh sides are doing quite well. I mean, Britain have done quite well this year with having senior players. It's bound to make a difference, whereas Scotland sides haven't had that luxury. No. It's not like they've been able to bring in Dr. Malcolm.
No.
Dr. Malcolm. Do you know what I mean? So we know that the Irish sides are already quite far developed.
Yeah.
Whereas the Welsh sides are kind of like under 25s or under 23s even, with a couple of older players, the more senior players being dropped in. Whereas the Scottish sides are kind of like, I don't know what their age averages are, but they do definitely feel like they are like more development sides without any of without fewer internationals anyway.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's fair.
And I don't go on about it. I think the Celtic Challenge needs to be one thing and not like a mixture of all of this, because I think it's always gonna be a bit kind of like top heavy and a bit weird. It'll be more competitive if it was more, this is what we are.
Yeah, absolutely. It'd be interesting to see how that part of the game develops. We're hoping to go and watch Britain v Gwalia in round 10, and I think it is a really good idea of the Celtic Challenge to end with local derbies. I think that's really
I think it's great. I think it's such a cool way to end the league games.
And technically, you could go and watch all three if you have loads of time and don't mind all the air miles. Because
if you've got a teleporter? What?
Well, no, because the Glasgow Edinburgh match is on the Friday.
Oh, of course, I forgot about that. Yes, you're right. I thought they were all on Saturday and Sunday, but no.
Wolfhounds and Clovers then on the Saturday, and we're playing on the Sunday. Damn, we missed that idea. That would have been a good little weekend break for us.
Imagine the reels I would have made, Sarah. Imagine the content.
I know.
It would have been fun.
It would have been hilarious. We'd be like, where are we again? No, it's Leslie. That would have been funny. There'd be people in Glasgow go, why are they going on about parky cutlets? What's all that about? Sadly, we haven't organised ourselves to do that, but I do think it's really good to end with the local derbies. So Brython versus Gwalia. Yeah, it'll be interesting. So much is on what teams get put out, and it doesn't help Gwalia with all the injuries that's happened and further injuries, sadly.
Yeah, I have no idea what kind of team we're going to have to put out. And because of that, I kind of, and the momentum that Britain have had, and it's at home for them, I think it is looking towards the Britain win. But I don't think,
I don't know. I think it's going to be. I know I'm saying this to the listeners. Make sure you watch, but I do genuinely think it's going to be quite an interesting one. I think it's going to be.
I think it'll be. I think it'll be good. I think it'll be a really. I think it'll be. There's going to be a little bit of niggle in there. I think it's going to. It's the Wash Derby. I think it'll be a really good. I think it will be fun.
Well, I think it'll be quite high scoring, but I can't really quite call exactly how it will land. What I am going to predict though is your phone is going to tell you abnormal heart rate detected. Calm down.
Oh my days! What is? No, my Garmin. Right, my Garmin tells me I'm about to have a heart attack when Beth Lewis scored. Right. I mean, I know I get carried away, but that's ridiculous. And then on Friday, it told me like I was in a meeting in work and it was like pinging me because it thought I was dead because my heart rate was so low. It's like, how can this be?
That's so funny. You should have heckled your colleagues. This meeting is so boring.
I know, right? I know.
So
of course, I'm not saying that. My meetings are so amazing.
Absolutely. Said no one ever. But I am really looking forward to going to Parky Cutlets.
Yeah, it'll be really good. I think it's a really great way to end the league matches. I've said that about a million times now, but it will be fun.
Yeah, definitely. So an interesting question for you is, do you think next year now Gwalia should carry on playing at Ystrad Mynach, or should we try and move to Cardiff Arms Park?
It's
Welsh rugby.
It's that's controversial, Sarah. You've just you've just been cancelled now everywhere apart from Cardiff. It's an interesting question. I think personally, I love Ystrad Mynach, but I think it is limited. It's not the best place for broadcasting.
No.
Whereas Cardiff Arms Park is so much better for broadcasting. It's just set up for it. You haven't got cameras in the way to destroy to get in your line of vision. I'm leaning towards more about playing at Cap, to be honest. I think if you want to grow the game, they could be marketing it. It's a bit of a bigger draw to say that the games are at Cardiff Arms Park than they are at Ystrad Mynach. As much as I love Ystrad Mynach.
I think so. We're very, very fond of it. If you said, sorry, we're not going back, I'd be like, oh, I'd miss it. It's been a lovely, very welcoming place. I miss Sean complaining that the bin is in the wrong place, getting in the way of all our photos.
Oh that bin is driving me mad, actually. Bin rage. It's in all my photos.
I love controversy, but if it's bin related. But it's got it's got a lot of charm. But I agree with you. A couple of people I've talked to, you should come and watch a game, and like Ystrad Mynach, and that's not against Ystrad Mynach, and actually it's on a train line, but it's I think
no, it's really great. I mean, it's so easy to get to. I mean, that's not the issue at all. But I don't know if we do want to grow the game.
It's just off the beaten track, and that's no disrespect to Ystrad Mynach. I think if you want to grow the game, you've got that opportunity, and there's just so much football in Cardiff, and there's just so much natural interest in rugby. I just love to see it develop more.
I think so. I think that's the way it should be heading.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know there's senior people in Cardiff Rugby who I've spoken to in the past who are really keen to see Cardiff play, have a women's team again. And I'm going to, people are sick of me going on about this, but I'm going to go on about it again. And of course, some of the earliest documented women's rugby teams is the Cardiff women's rugby team. So it would be really nice to loop that back to a team that was playing in Cardiff during the First World War over 100 years ago. So that's something about that legacy to me also seems quite nice.
No, I agree.
So yes, hot take time. What is your hot take of the week, Shansta?
So, I mean, I don't know if this is actually a hot take, because if anyone doesn't agree, if they're a rugby fan, there's probably something wrong with them. But basically, it was announced this week that the GOAT of women's rugby, I know we talk about Sophie de Goody,
the other GOAT,
but the original GOAT, I think, Portia Woodman-Wycliffe, has announced her second retirement, because of course she retired before. Yeah. She has actually announced her retirement from rugby, and it's quite sad, because she has been incredible. She's an absolutely incredible player.
I just think a game changer, and has changed what women's rugby is.
Yes, I agree.
Some of the footage of her, some of the reels for the power, the intensity, just everything.
So I guess my hot take is that she is the original GOAT. And it is sad to see her retire, but all things have to come to an end. She's the highest task scorer for tries in New Zealand rugby history.
Wow, men or women?
Yep.
Greater than Jonah Lomu. Yeah.
Well, Doug Howlett was the original. You remember Doug Howlett? She beat his record, and I think it was in like 29 tests.
What?
When his were in like 60 odd.
Yeah.
But
I was going to make that point that with long gaps out of the game and playing league and etc. and sevens etc. What she would have achieved had
a true double international as well, in the sense that she was a fantastic sevens player and a fantastic 15s player. And I've gone on about this lots on our other pod on the Women's Rugby Treehouse, because actually being able to be that world class in sevens and in 15s is actually quite rare. But she was it. So yeah, it's thanks for the memories, Portia, because I have absolutely loved watching you play. It's been a joy.
She has. Even that there's a reel of her going around with just doing all those handoffs, not even scoring the tries, but like just
my god, her handoffs.
Handoffs never. I bet there's a lot of players glad she's retired. She's like in her 30s. I want to think she's about mid-30s now. They're really glad.
She's 34, I think. I think she's 34. Yeah, 34.
They'd be glad they'd never be handed off like that before. I've just
there's a really famous one when she actually slowed down.
Yes,
the defender to catch up for her to hand her off, and she just like pushed her off like she was a little rag doll. Yeah, thanks, Portia. We stan you.
I hope she still stays involved in the game in some way.
I'm sure she will.
Yeah, she'd be a shame if she didn't. Oh, so follow that for my hot take then. Okay, how many tickets do you think Glasgow and Edinburgh have sold for the Friday night fantasy on this?
Where is this match? I can't remember if it's
at Scotstoun Stadium, so it's a Glasgow home game.
Oh, I don't know why I asked that, because I would have.
Does that make a difference?
I don't know. I'm going to assume that it's a lot because you're asking me.
I know. They've announced they've sold over 1,000 tickets already.
Oh, amazing! That's amazing.
Yeah.
Fair play.
And bear in mind, a lot of people will be last minute. It's that sort of thing. So, I mean, to have done that already for the derby is absolutely fantastic.
And it's on a Six Nations evening. And I know, it's not Scotland playing; it's Wales and Ireland. But still, there's a lot of lot of rugby fans who potentially.
Yeah, you watch all the Six Nations if you're into it, don't you? That's the thing.
Exactly. Yeah. So you might be like, oh, do I want to watch this or this? So no, that's amazing. Nice one, Scotland.
Yeah, no, we're really, really proud of that. No, I think they've done a good job of building up their social media. They obviously don't have a fan pod as awesome as us, clearly. But
we are the only fan pod, Sarah. That's because Gwalia are amazing.
Absolutely. I do for building up that fanship. It certainly sounded certainly sounds like that's going to be an absolutely fantastic evening for all involved. So yeah.
Awesome. So yeah, any other final thoughts as we wrap up?
I suppose I want to know if you've changed any of your thoughts for the Women's Six Nations. One thing I wondered is how much the games have been affected this week by the Welsh team having been in camp quite a lot.
I've wondered this, like how much is the balance of being in Wales camp affecting Britton and Gwalia? You've got the players not in the Wales camp and vice versa. Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic for them to cope with, I definitely think. And plus the coaches are involved as well. So both Kat and Ashley Beck are assistant coaches to Sean Lynn. So yeah, it's definitely an interesting dynamic.
Yeah, absolutely. What about for you, Sean? Any last comments and thoughts?
My Gwalia stickers are amazing.
Oh, we did a good job of giving out the stickers to the kids. There's probably a lot of parents complaining now that their cars or there's loads of Gwalia stickers around the house. We had fun with the stickers. We met some lovely people, I think, this year at the home matches in Mynach.
Yeah, it's a shame that we don't have any more home matches now, and that's kind of it really for the season. It seems to have gone so fast, and it's I honestly love going to these games so much. We just get to meet so many nice people, and everyone's just so lovely, and we're just chatting to lots of people. There's just such a nice community. We've had loads of really fun conversations. everybody's been so lovely. Yeah, I just can't get enough of it, to be honest. And I'm kind of sad that it's over.
Yep.
I mean, the season's not quite over yet, but I mean, in terms of the home games.
No, it will be really exciting to see what happens, and looking forward to round 10 now.
Yep, definitely. So I think that's all from us this week. As always, thank you for listening. We do appreciate everyone who sticks with us through this fun roller coaster that is the Celtic Challenge. If you have enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, leave a rating or share it with a fellow rugby fan. We will be back next week to discuss the last final round of the Celtic Challenge. Until then, take care.
See you all soon.